Okay, this story is going to go in World War II, where the U.S. is flying over Japan, getting ready to attack, and they got 10 U.S. soldiers in this plane getting ready to parachute out to attack. And what happens is the whole area gets completely nuked. It gets wiped out with a nuke. The plane crashes, everyone dies, besides these two soldiers named John and Billy. And John and Billy are the only two that survived. But they wake up next to each other. You know, they're hurt, they're bruised up, they're banged up. You know, they're laying. They wake up both laying next to each other. They got no guns. The only guns they have is their knives and their sidearms. They have no primary weapons. So how the story goes is, since they was nuked and they can't remember it or anything, as they're going back, they're fighting their way through not only Japanese deformed soldiers, but also United States deformed soldiers. So here's how the story goes. John wakes up next to, Billy wakes up next to John, and Billy's like, "Yo, John, are you there? Like, are you awake, man? Like, we've been nuked, man. I don't know what's going on. Like, something's happened. Like, I think we've been nuked." And he wakes up. He's like, "No, dude, I have no clue, man. Do you think we've been nuked? Where's everyone at? You know, where are we at? You know, I've never been in this location. You know, where's our guns? Where's the rest of the platoon? You know, we're hurt. You know, my back hurts, my leg hurts. I don't think I can walk. I think I might have broke my ankle." And he's like, "No, dude, you're just scared." And he's like, "I don't think we've been nuked. I think we've been attacked. I think our plane was attacked. And, you know, I think we're the only ones that survived." And he's like, "I think that's what it is. You know, our plane must have been attacked by the Japs, and now we're stuck out here, and we got to find our way back to the base." So, they get their stuff together, and they're walking through the woods. The trees are on fire. There's nothing around. They're in the forest of Japan, and as they're walking, they see this soldier, and he's eating on another dead soldier. He's like sitting over top of him eating, like a zombie would be sitting on top of somebody eating. So they walk over there, and this is a U.S. soldier sitting on top of a Japanese soldier, and he's like eating his flesh like a zombie. And as he turns around, he's like a zombie soldier, deformed up, zombie messed up soldier, and he takes off running at them. And the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And Billy's like, "Shoot him, John, shoot him." And John's like, "Okay." And they only have their sidearms, so they only have roughly 20 shots each. So altogether they got 40 shots, and then they have their knife. So John puts like 5 bullets into his chest, but the deformed zombie soldier, is still running at him. So then Billy shoots, and it goes right through the back of his head. And when it goes through the back of his head, he dies. As you all know, you can't kill a zombie without shooting him in the back of the head. The same for these creatures. When after he killed him from shooting him in the back of the head, they walked up to him. He's like, "I don't know what he is. He's some kind of dead soldier, but he's alive." And he's like, "What do you think happened?" He's like, "I have no clue, dude. We need to get back to base. We need to report this, you know, because this was friendly and they attacked. So right now, everybody's the enemy." So they went over there and they picked up the primary weapon that was laying there. They picked up a Thompson. So, they got one Thompson with 30 shots, and then they got their secondary pistols, and they only have a little bit of ammo basically, and they have their knives. So now they're walking back, and as they start walking, they've been walking for a few hours. They get to the area. They see, bunkers on fire. They see dead soldiers laying everywhere, burnt soldiers on fire, crashed planes, pieces of planes, and then they see these not Nazi, they see these zombie, deformed soldiers, all of them, attacking each other and eating each other. There's about, I'd say, a whole army of them, because there was the whole army of the Japs, and then there was the American soldiers on ground already. So there's, rough to say, 100 some soldiers, and they're like, "We do not have enough firearms to attack all these guys. Basically, we walk up there, we're dead." So their thoughts is, we got to go around this base and find a way back to our base. So as they're going around, they see one of the zombie deformed soldiers, and they're like, "We gotta take this one out silently so he doesn't get the rest of them over here." So Billy walks up behind him with his knife and grabs him from the back of his neck and slits his throat. But while he's doing that to this soldier, this deformed soldier, this soldier bites his arm, bites Billy's arm, and John, he walks up to Billy. He's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "No, the fucker bit me." Well, this is before they knew anything about zombies, so you know, if you don't know anything about zombies, then you don't know what happens if you get bit. So Billy's all like, he bit me, and John's like, well, here, wrap it up with this bandana, and let's get back going. So they wrap it up, and they're back marching, and while they're marching, they see another one ahead of them, and at this point, Billy, he's getting really sick, and John's like, you okay? He's like, I don't know, man. Billy's puking blood and everything, and his face is turning all red and green, and John's like, oh, are you okay, dude? Are you sick? Maybe that fucker got you sick. Maybe we need to get you back to base and get you checked out. And John's like, I'm going to take this one out. You stay here, Billy. And Billy's like, okay. So John walks up to this one, and when John stabs him in the back of the neck and kills it, John turns around and sees his friend Billy is one of the zombie soldier guys. So John's like, what the fuck, and Billy's walking at him slow. And John's like, he doesn't want to kill him or anything. So he doesn't know if he's for sure really like that. And then Billy takes off running at John. John's like, John realizes there's nothing he can do for him now. So John takes his pistol and aims it right at his face and just blasts a bullet right in his face. And then John walks up to him and he's like, I didn't want to do this to you, but I had to. And so now John's all on his own, and John's main priority is to get back to his base, back to their headquarters, and report what's going on. So John's walking, and he's staying away from all these zombie soldiers. And when he gets back to his base, he realizes that there's nothing there. There's no one there. It's just an empty spot. So now John, he's stuck in Japan. He doesn't know where, his team's at. He's got a little bit of weapons left, and he's got no food, no way to survive. So John sits down. He's sitting there crying and everything, and he puts his pistol in his mouth, and he's like, it's for the best because I don't want to be killed and attacked, turned into one of them. And he pulls the trigger and kills himself. And right after he pulls the trigger and kills himself, 10 minutes later, a platoon of the U.S. soldiers that are normal, they're out looking for survivors, walk by and find his dead body. And when they pick him up and bring him back, and basically, if he would have just waited about 10 more minutes, he would have survived. But where he was so scared and going crazy, he killed himself, and that's how the story ends.